Hey guys, so this is episode 1 of our first math videos, and this episode is going to be on order of operations. So in this episode, you will learn what GEMDAS stands for, the order for solving problems with more than one operation, and we'll definitely do a lot of practice on these two topics the next time that we have class on Friday or Tuesday, depending on when you have me for math. So, if we're thinking about this expression here, we have 2,000 times 50 plus 7 times 64,100 plus 6 times 106,700 plus 198,000. If we look at this expression, you'll notice that there are two operations involved. I see multiplication and I see addition. So what do we do first? How am I actually going to solve or evaluate this expression? To evaluate expressions involving more than one operation, mathematicians or like super smart people that came up with these crazy cool rules for math have agreed upon a set of rules called the order of operations. So anytime you see a problem that has more than one operation, we're always going to use these sets of rules. So below is the order that you will solve expressions with more than one operation. So the first thing that you're going to do is you're going to evaluate or plug in and solve expressions inside grouping symbols. So some examples of grouping symbols are parentheses, brackets, and we'll talk about brackets in class, but those will probably be the two most common types that you'll see. You'll also see braces, which no, those aren't the things on your teeth. They kind of are a combination between brackets and parentheses. So those are going to be what you do first. You're going to solve anything inside of a grouping symbol. Then you're going to evaluate powers or exponents. So that's what we were talking about in class today is exponents. That's going to be the second operation that you're going to do. Next, you're going to multiply and divide from left to right. So what that means is you're not actually always going to multiply before you divide. Sometimes you'll divide before you multiply according to which situation you hit first. And we're going to discuss that because that might be a little bit confusing. And addition and subtraction are the same way as multiplication and division. You are going to add and subtract according to which one you hit first when you're moving from left to right. So the way that we remember the order is we use this special little quotation called, "Please excuse my dear Aunt Sally." Now, if you look at it, it's actually a G because we use G for grouping instead of P for, in the old school days, it was P for parentheses, but there's actually more grouping symbols than just parentheses. So it's going to be, "Please excuse my dear Aunt Sally." So again, the G is for grouping, E is for exponents, the M and the D are for multiplication and division, and then the A and the S are for adding and subtracting. And if you notice, there's an arrow above the multiplication and division and the addition and subtraction, which means you're moving from left to right and you're seeing which operation you hit first. So in this example here, this was our example from earlier, we're going to talk about how we'd actually solve this problem. So we need to use GEMDAS because there's more than one operation. So what do we do first? Well, we're going to start at the left and complete each of the multiplication expressions first because we always multiply and divide before we add and subtract. So starting from the left, I'm first going to solve 2,000 times 50, which is 100,000. Then 7 times 64,100, which is 448,700. And then I'm going to do 6 times 106,700, which gives us 640,200. So I'm done now with all of my multiplication expressions, and so now the entire expression looks like this. So since we only have addition left, we can add in any order because the order doesn't matter when we're adding. If we added all of these ginormous numbers together, we would get 1,385,900. So again, we started with our multiplication. We did each of those 3 multiplication expressions, and then we just added our 4 sums together to get our final answer. So again, this is just a quick overview of what is order of operations, what is GEMDAS, when do we use it. So we're going to continue to practice problems using GEMDAS in class. We're going to learn how to use GEMDAS when solving problems with grouping symbols, so with our parentheses, our brackets, and our braces. And then we'll learn how to use GEMDAS to solve problems with more than one grouping symbol. So sometimes there's going to be problems with parentheses and brackets. And these are actually the really fun ones because they're pretty challenging. Okay, cool. Well, y'all have a great night, and I will see y'all in school whenever I see y'all. Bye.